Alrighty then everybody, we are live again, and today we are doing Nightmare. The Nightmare Diablo 2 Ladder Season 12 with our sorcerers. Now I made some changes. I know I already respec this thing to Blizzard, but today I felt like I absolutely hate the targeting of Blizzard. So I'd much rather have a little bit less damage than I would have just no ability to target properly. So now we are using Frozen Orb, Force Bolt, whatever the hell it's called, and it is just much more fun to play. I think so, right? So don't bite my head off if this isn't your favorite, but to me it has always been a favorite playstyle. Now the problem is, the damage on the Force Orb, Frozen Orb, whatever it is definitely lower than Blizzard. So you're gonna need some good gear, but the good news is, what we will be doing is the most boring yet the most efficient way of farming, and that is specifically targeting magic find zones. That is what we're gonna have to do. I'm already getting some magic find gear. It's not great, definitely not to the level where we want it to be, but we want to have the chance to find magical items to be as high as possible. It is a real elfy build, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be fun, because we're looking for specific bases right now, right? We want a 4-socket second tier or elite tier. Is it elite? The next tier, at least, the Nightmare tier of a 4-socket pull armor spear, so we can actually start making an insight, which we don't yet have. But what we do have, guys, is this. We dropped Hawaiianis, Justice. And that is significant DPS for this mercenary to somewhat stay alive. We also have Sigon's chest and we have an undead crown. Now I always feel, in order for these guys to survive, what you need is the ability to have lifesteal on one of their items. So the ability to have the undead crown drop with the 5% life leech is very good for early survival for that mercenary. I gotta say, it's staying alive quite well, all things considered. Now we are playing this so far off the normal beaten path that a lot of people are going to be looking at us and thinking, especially the veterans, dude, what the hell is he doing? But I'm actually playing this with energy shield. So most people play cold swords with fatality based. I'm going to be playing it energy based, and that is because there really isn't much in the ways of synergy for Frozen Orb, right? We've got Frozen Orb combined with the Ice Bolt, and that means we have a lot of points left to put into the Energy Shield, Telekinesis, maybe a little bit into Warmth as well for that extra regen. So this is in no way meta. Mostly people would just probably hybridize this character and go for something like Meteor in here as well for the fire damage, but I'm not gonna bother with that at all. I think, you know, once your Merc is strong enough, it'll carry those encounters where you are forced to contend with cold, certain cold bosses. And it might be a little bit slow, but it's gonna work without sacrificing damage, which is the most important part, I think. Oh, there we go. Now, as you can see, my Force Shield, or whatever the energy shield thing above my head, is still really low, which is resulting in me not actually mitigating all my damage through mana just yet. But we're gonna get that a little higher. It's not gonna be too much of an issue. And once again, we have the one thing that other characters don't have, and that is teleport, right? We have the ability to get the hell out of dodge when things get hairy, and we use that very, very gratefully. So we are running this nice and solo, guys. I know the groups are probably a lot further along. Somebody yesterday came into the chat to say that as well, like, do you know that the guys are already level 80? Yeah, I know, I don't care. I'm not doing this in any way competitive. It's just to have some fun, right? I haven't played the game seriously in years, like from a ladder. Usually when I start playing, you know, we're so far in that some kind of a wealthy guy just walks into town and starts dropping beginner uniques, which makes leveling a lot easier. But you know, leveling from scratch does have a little bit of a, you know, a charm, I would say. So that's what we're doing. Lost City into Valley of Snakes. Just like yesterday, guys. It is a repeat. Now, if we actually manage to clear Nightmare, which will not be easy, because we'll be encountering some cold immunes later in Act 5, I'm sure. But if we manage to clear that in this specific configuration, then we will be doing some... I think it's called the Cave or something in Act 1, which does have the highest item level. And the ability to drop any item in the game, and that will be on repeat. It's not the most exciting stuff, but it is very, very efficient into farming some of the uniques that we want. So, think Viper Magi. Definitely something I want. Maybe some Stone of Jordan, but we need more Magic Find, guys. Magic Find is really low on this thing. And because we're playing online, we cannot do players 8, like you would do on single player offline. So I'm actually playing online as a single player 1. Which is kind of going against what's efficient. But hey, Path of Exile player, right? Mostly that means you play alone. I just want to see how far I can get. Now, one thing's for sure. In order for me to actually beat Hell difficulty, I'm gonna either need a Cold Thunder Charm, or I'm gonna need a fantastic weapon for my mercenary to hunt down and just destroy the cold immunes, because I will not be doing another respec. Not until I've got a Token of Absolution as a backup. Because making a mistake in your respec could actually break a character. Not something you want, guys. Trust me. There we go, Valley of Snakes. I gotta say, so far it's doing alright. Now what I need to do is probably reset the Ancients a number of times, because we need a set of Ancients without a cold immune. And then we also need to survive it, which, I mean, you'd think that that is fairly easy, but especially the guy with the Whirlwind can attack from pretty much halfway across the screen and just kind of dash through you. It's gonna be a bad night if that happens. But hey, we're far away from Act 5. Let's first enjoy the process where we are. And there is the second Claw Vampire. This is why we need a mercenary that can survive, because just the ability for him to take a few hits while you are actually shooting the enemy. The defensive layer of that mercenary is great, but to actually get it to a point where it survives is always a bit tricky. So we did get our first spirit, guys. We have our spirit rune word ready to go, but what we don't have is a good roll. Like 26% faster cast rate is yuck, right? It's almost the least best roll there is. I think they roll up to 35%, so it's good that we actually have a second sword ready here that we dropped. And that means we can do another Tal Tool Ort M if we actually get the runes and see if we get a better spirit. That would be nice. Alright, staff ready. How are you doing, Ladamite? Yes, we are running through Nightmare difficulty, the second difficulty, hopefully at least, that is the plan. The second difficulty of the game. Now, as soon as you go to a higher difficulty, you get to contend with immune monsters, which is a little bit of annoying as a sorcerer, but if we can get through it, guys, we can do some Terror Zone farming and hopefully get lucky with a Thunder Charm, a Cold Thunder Charm. That would be amazing. Break their immunity. Eating out, overeating. Two of the worst things you can do, man. Unless it is... Oh, I can't say that on YouTube, right? Now, there's certain things you can eat where you don't want to be rushing, and eating more of it will actually still please your missus. Yeah, there you go. I think I can say it like that. Wrong side, Larry. Yeah, that's why I was kind of choosing my words a little bit here. I was like, yeah, you know. Now, there's always a super unique here. And it's easier to fight him from a different room. The Elamite, dude, if you wanna run this as well, I'm not sure if you have before, but I can actually rush you. At least, I'm not sure if that's still possible. I think it used to be possible at least. So, you know, if you want to run, let me know. I got you. Motherfucker is immune to cold. So that's what I mean, right? Now I don't deal any damage. Hey, finally, Soul Rune. Oh, that is amazing. Okay, so Soul Rune, guys, we actually need 2 of them. Is good for 2 reasons. Rune Word Ortsoul, which is lore, I think, for the helmet. And Ryltir Talsoul for that thing I've been talking about yesterday, the polearm or spear, for insight. Which pretty much means immortality for anything but one-shots. You'll be healing up so ridiculously fast. Finally a Soul Rune. Jesus. Now I've got Ryltir. I don't think I have a Tal rune, but Tal is so ridiculously common. And I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay, no hole-in-one this time. Yesterday we had a hole-in-one here, where we actually found the area we wanted to go straight up. Okay, so we'll just take the same route back. Teleport for the win, guys. If you do this with a barbarian, you're not gonna be happy. Although, you know, it does have increased speed and insane tankiness. I'm actually thinking about making a barbarian if I manage to get a couple of items that actually make it worthwhile doing like a Horker. One of the magic fine shouter guys, you know what I mean? Those things are absolutely fun, especially doing Trisp runs all over again. No, not Trisp runs, what's that? Travi runs. The council runs. Whee! That's a Grand Charm, another level to my Merc. So yeah, the character is coming together now, and for those that just joined, I have chosen to opt out of Blizzard because I absolutely hate its targeting and its cooldown. Now true, the Frozen Orb also has cooldown, but that is far less of an issue, especially when farming these, call it little areas. So I'm pretty happy I did that. This is just gives me a bit more freedom to move around and to shoot more. But the damage is lower. Okay, well, time to buy some pots. Just this blasphemy, right? This Path of Exile music under Diablo 2. People are like, wait, what? Something's off here. I know, guys. I know, it's kind of wonky. Okay, let's see if this is it. It's not. Okay, so we literally went every direction. Another Soul Rune! Oh my god, guys. We got our second Soul Rune. Now we need Ort. That is amazing. In the same zone as well. That's amazing. So that was the rune that I've been looking for the last couple of hours. So streamer client really is a thing. Even in Diablo. Seems to be a thing. You start streaming, you get the runes you want. That's wild. Right, so there he is. And this time it is... Yeah, that's a good question. Huh. Would it be the arrows down? I think it's the arrows down. We'll see. No. Circle. Okay. Now, I told you guys before that Duriel is a little bit of a problem. Well, he's a big, much bigger problem when we do him on... much bigger problem, actually. When we do him on Nightmare. So, I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. But I think we're just going to move around properly. Use good spacing, and we should be fine. We do now have the Spirit Rune word, so we are at the next breakpoint on the cast. And that means it should be fairly easy to just out... and maneuver him, hopefully. Gonna learn today, boys. Gonna learn today. That's another level, and that's another bill. Belly genius, not my lover. Now, I kind of hoped that that would be an ethereal one, because that would have increased his damage by a very significant margin. Although I'm not sure it can spawn ethereal. It's a good question. If anybody in the chat knows, let me know. But that is the same weapon he's already using. The mercenary. Chael Rune. But the damage is slowly going up. But here's the thing, I think Duriel actually has some significant resistances in the cold department. Now true, we are using this, which has that lower resist thingy. What is it here? It is minus 30, which should work. But still, he's going to be a bit of a tricky guy to deal with. Okay, we found him. Here comes the boss to Act 2. The most problematic one, I think, for the Act bosses. Give it a go. Alright, well, this is not going to be easy. But it's going to be fun. See, that's what I mean. Now I'm gonna have to try and keep this guy off me, because if he hits me, it's gonna be bad for me. See? Very bad. Now we do deal a little bit of damage to him, so that's good news. It's that Peewee reflexes coming into play there. There we go. We got him. Hole in one, boys. Now, like I said, that seems to be like an easy fight, but you make one mistake on your teleport and that could be the last mistake you make, at least in this setup. Happy to see we made it. And that brings us to Act 3, no problem at all, Nightmare. Now, if I remember correctly, back in the day, you couldn't actually use teleport in that room. And that made him a lot more dangerous, because his movement is a lot faster than your base movement, usually at least. So kind of happy that wasn't the case now. 42, 159... If it's the exact same, 42, 159, it's the exact same, yeah. Ooh, that's a pretty good one, actually. It's not as good as Spirit, but very, very decent. And so here we go, guys. Onwards towards Mephisto. Okay. Now we are saving up a couple of things for if we want to make a Barbarian. This is pretty decent at level 30, the Blood Ladder. But so far we haven't gotten too great a gear. I mean, we're closing in on finishing a Sigon set. Just solo, which is a pretty good feat actually. Now, we need to get through Act 3, which I think we can do. Shouldn't be too difficult. It's actually easier, I think, than Duriel. Oh, we did Duriel hole in one. Gold Ras needs to be a little bit better. Lightning Ras is good, especially for Nightmare. And we need a bit better gloves. Alright, well. That's the wrong one. That means there's a waypoint here. There it is. Now we need to go find the Spider Cavern. Likely on the same side. I think that's it. There it is. Now these spiders can get very, very nasty. Want to be a little bit careful with them. Especially these bosses that are going to be here in this bottom left corner. They deal a lot of damage. Those guys. Lucky for me, the mercenary is there to take some hits. And there's the eye. Now if we get lucky, we actually find the Flare Jungle before we find the marsh. It does connect somewhere, but I'm not gonna look for it. If we actually do get to the marsh first, we'll clear the marsh. There we go. It's always a little bit tricky. Because if you teleport too fast, you're going to be running out of your mana. But that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is that you might teleport into a group of enemies with a certain aura. Call it fanaticism, call it something like that, and you're just dying. Now eventually that won't be an issue once we actually get our skill levels up a little bit. So we need an Ord rune. And if I'm not mistaken, we get an Ord rune for free when we do the Act 5 quest. Now we're going to get past Mephisto and we're going to get past Diablo. That shouldn't be an issue. Especially with the resistances we have. It's going to take some time, but we're going to get it. And seeing a serpent skin armor is definitely what you want to see, because it means there's that potential for a Viper Magi. A Viper Magi is the shit, guys. An additional level to all spells. And faster cast rate. I mean, that's the dream early on. You get a Viper Magi, you're good. Up until you go something like Dolum Barist or something. Chains of Honor. Let's see if we can actually get our asses into the Flare dungeon. Or the jungle this way. Nope, Great March it is. Now usually I'd be afraid of these ghosts, but because we're now properly ranged, these ghosts shouldn't be an issue. Oh, and as I say that, I almost die. That was nasty. Huge damage coming my way there. Now the good news is, those guys, the bosses, if you kill them, they drop items, and then they turn from one of those shamans into a normal version of a boss and drops items again. So you'll be flushed with potions. And there is our Tal rune, guys. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the last one we needed. Let's see. Ral, Tier, Tal, Soul. And another Tal. I only got 2 sets. In case we get like a level 12 version or we get a better base. And this means we can use it on any base we find that it's not a normal base. We need an exceptional version. Jesus. Amulet of the Lizzo. Jesus. Alright, okay. That's a lot of life. So now we just gotta find a 4-socket base. Now we can make a 4-socket base by keep saving up Rals and Amethysts, which is what we're doing as well, but it has like a 33% chance or maybe a 50-50. So we really do want to find just a 4-socket base, a proper one. Rodolph, what's up, buddy? So yes, this is without any mods, man. This would be classic. So if you want to play classic, it's going to look like this. Now, I'm not sure if anybody wants to see this version of the game. So let's just go back to the actual remake. There it is. That's another level, guys. We're getting there. Now, I'm not going to call anyone Shirley here, but surely we're getting there. Here we go. One of these. Whew. Yeah, the damage on those little ghost guys is super, super nasty. Oh no, there is Act 5. That's what you mean. No. It's Lord of Destruction. Oh, there is definitely Act 5. I mean, without Act 5, where would the game be, right? No Tal Rashasat, which was introduced in Lord of Destruction. That, you wouldn't like that. No, Act 5 is here. I'm not even sure there is a classic version of Diablo 2 Resurrected. It's a good question. I think that is automatically with Lord of Destruction, if you get resurrected. Now guys, this won't be as long a stream as we had yesterday, because today is UFC 320. Huge fight pan here, and that is a card I've been looking forward to, so we'll just be going for a few hours. Likely we won't need that long to finish Nightmare as well. You can select Classic without Act 5. For Resurrected, that's... I didn't expect that. I would expect at some point they would just, you know, make that a package, especially in a remake. Interesting. And just look at the experience in here, guys. It is nice. Oh, when you create a character. So it's within the game modus itself. It's not a separate game. It's interesting. Why would you do that? I mean, I know you can select ladder and non-ladder, but I didn't know you could select classic. Ladder, classic, hardcore. Alright. Jeez, imagine having no Act 5. Yeah, that's old school stuff, man. I mean, I did play the game when there was no Act 5. I was actually there when they released it. Well, I would say you too, right? You're a little older even than I am. Both two fossils here. Oh, yeah. Als Grammat, how you doing, buddy? Could you show the skill tree for a second? Especially interested in how you... Alright, yeah, sure. So what I'm doing... Oh, if you're still there, Ansgar. So I'm building this different than people usually build. Usually people build this pure vitality and then, you know, nothing in energy and that kind of shit. But for me personally, I feel, especially once I level onwards a little bit more, that having the combination of energy shield with the frozen orb just feels better. Now, to be fair, it is a little bit squishy right now, because we still need 5 levels to get to the max of our frozen orb. But after that, everything is going to be dumped into both energy shield and telekinesis, which creates a insanely tanky mana character, even though you're playing this as frozen orb. Not sure if you're still there, Ansgar, but that is kind of how I'm setting it up. Now the thing is, if you're playing Blizzard, you have Ice Bolt, Ice Blast and Glacial Spike as synergies, which means you're going to be spending a lot of points to get your Blizzard max. This has less damage, but it only has 1 synergy as well. So with only 1 synergy there, you have a lot of points left to mess with telekinesis, energy shield, and even a little bit of warmth to get even more regen. So once you get a few ice killers, you know, cold skills killers, you're definitely going to be just fine using this, unless you want to play it for like pure bossing. But for magic finding, I prefer this over Blizzard because of the targeting, especially once the damage kit is a little better. And there is the Flayer Jungle. But that is not how it's usually done. Usually people play Cold Sword pure vitality. Not forced to remind that. Look at the potions on that one. Alright, so as soon as we see the git bin, we know where we want to be. Blizzard has the better damage, man. If you're just doing boss farming and shit, go Blizzard. If you're just doing the Act 5 all over again, what's it called, the throne room and shit, go Blizzard. Because those monsters all spawn in the same location, you know what I mean? But if you're moving around, like I want to do, from terror zone to terror zone and farm terror zones, Blizzard is just, the cooldown is just annoying to me. Super annoying. Now, if you get Blizzard without cooldown on some of the mods, then yes. But even then, the targeting is annoying. With this, the targeting really isn't annoying. You just shoot. So it's a matter of preference. I know 90% of the player base prefers Blizzard. But this to me always just feels a bit more fun, more engaging as well. Yeah, people use the Frozen Orb combined with the, what's it called, Meteor. Usually, or what's that shit called? Hydra. But honestly, I just hope to get to the point that I have the what's that charm called? Sunder Charm, and then I don't have the dual element at all. I'll just sunder all the resistances. That's the thing, right? We're not playing the classic Diablo. We actually have access to a sundering charm. And that is going to break the resistances to the point where this will be very viable with Energy Shield. Without having to go dual element. And then it's just Nightwing's Veil and Cold Facets and Cold Skillers and all that kind of stuff. But that's for later. If I actually get that far into the game. Because I'm not actually playing this to min-max it. It's just to have some fun right now. Get away from Path of Exile. Just take a breather because... I don't know, man. Been burned out just a little bit. Not gonna lie. So, it's just back to basics. Just having fun. Not worry too much about performance, perfection of builds, and, you know, following, whatever. It's just, you know, whatever feels good. Having fun. Yeah, I was actually thinking about doing an Aura Den early on, like a Fire Aura Den, Holy Fire. That is super fun early leveling because you're just gonna walk and everything around you just dies. But then I was like, that's gonna get me bored as well. So, might as well do something that's at least a bit mobile. Yeah, it's super meta. It is the meta. The best starter skill, I would say. Starter build. Maxi, what's up, buddy? So Hammered In, I was thinking about it, but the reason I despise Hammered In without Enigma, and I guess you could have already guessed this. Here it comes. Maggot Layer. Oh my god, have you done a Hammered In the Maggot Layer? Dude, it's a problem, man. You're just not... At a certain angle, you're just not gonna hit the enemies. It is, it's pretty big. Alright guys, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get this done. Get a little extra life here. And an additional ring. Hopefully it's a good one. How you doing, Maxi? Alright, so that is a no-go. You now speak to Ormus. Alright, see what we got. A lot of lightning grass. Not much else though. Yeah, so I'm in a nightmare right now. Trying to finish it. It should be okay. Without too much of an issue. But we all know how much of a problem you're gonna get once you step into hell. With the immunities and stuff. So either you have a merc that can just stick him. Which we don't have. Until we find a... proper 4-socket base. Or we get our hands on that Sunder Charm. Which I'm not sure how rare that is, but I'm trying to stack Magic Find where I can. And right now I've got a whopping 45% chance to find magic items. Yeah, I know, right? We need to timestamp that. Well, it's either that or just the magic find runs, or farming Ravi runs later in Act 3. Good chance of a Viper Magi in Nightmare version. And it's easily accessible, right? There's no pathfinding. There we go. Damn it! I wish you'd people just leave me alone. There we go. Boom. Yeah, that's a fun thing about this. The reason I went to Sorcerer is plain and simple, it's just mobility. So I would think that... Well, I wouldn't think, I'm sure that a Hammered In does all content without any issues. No need for Thunder Charm. You can just make a Hammered In and walk through hell like it's nothing. The only thing you're gonna have some trouble with is in the Baal Throne Room with the Horadrim, who are magic immune. Right? At that point you need a Mercenary, or you need Smite. Either Mercenary or Smite with a lot of power behind it and on a weapon swap, and you could get rid of that as well. But that is pretty much the only character without any issues that is just gonna blast normal Nightmare hell. And I didn't want to have it that easy, so I'd much rather just focus on some magic finding, some certain zones, and then finding the upgrades as I go through hell, which will not be anytime soon. Okay, that's oh yeah, the Stygian dolls, guys. Stygian dolls are nasty, look at that. Dangerous as hell. Woo! Nope. So the cold pan is only good for a couple of points. As soon as you get a few more levels, you cannot cold pan below 0. At least, not as far as I know. So they are either immune or you know, just a couple of points in there is gonna help. Because you're gonna get 2 levels on your shield, you're gonna get 2 levels on your helmet, you're gonna get a level on your body armor, levels on your rings. So wasting the points into the cold absorb early on is a no-go. The cold pan, I mean. As it stands right now, it lowers resistances to 30%. So an additional level 35, another level is 40. But anything that's at 100% you cannot break with that skill. So just a few points in there. That's all I do usually. And that's another Saigon's Tower Shield. Gotta be kidding me. Oh, 4, sure. Rodolph, yeah. I mean, the entire PoE game is inspired by this. The entire genre is inspired by this. This is the OG shit. There we go. We gotta be a little bit careful here. Please tell me that's a 2-socket. That is a 2-socket. Ready for Ort Soul when I get an Ort Rune for an additional skill point. Yeah, it looks extremely similar. A little bit more modern though. And another reason why you want teleport. Healing, healing, mana, mana. Brain. Okay. Those little guys. Yeah, that's the thing, right? The undead soul killers are the most problematic ones, I think. Those little skeletons, when you kill them, they explode. The Stygian dolls. They are my least favorite enemy. Even if you have a lot of life, think about playing like a Zeal character or something. It's not gonna be fun. Ort Soul, we just need an Ort Rune, and that is another Saigon. +1 skills, but I cannot afford to remove that. Look at that. Resistances? No resistances. So yeah, Ancient Pledge is here to stay for now. Yeah, those soul killers are actually there as well before you go to Mephisto, and it is not fun. Those things are death waiting to happen if you're not careful. Well, you can make sure you stay behind your mercenary and shoot ahead a lot, and then it's gonna be okay, but... Or play with a barbarian that will use his war cries on you and, you know, double your life or even more. Which is also why I kind of like the barbarian, but the barbarian is super boring to level. I think the worst class to level by far. But you do have the shouts and the find items and all that kind of shit. That are very nice, the war cries, I mean. Yeah, I've played Diablo 3 quite a bit hardcore, but Diablo 2 not. Kinda always felt that it was a bit of a suicide mission. Well, Barb is safe to level, but hitting enemies one by one with Frenzy? No, that's not for me. Compare that to, let's say, a Holy Fire Aura in the first difficulty, where you just walk and everything dies around you. But yeah, Barb isn't dying though. Or the singer, you mean? Yeah. Warcry Barb, yeah, that's okay. But it takes a little while to actually get to that Warcry, right? Isn't that like 20... Oh, fuck me. Isn't that like level 24? Ooh. See, maybe something good for my mercenary. Polax. Tell me it's a 4-socket, boys. Fuck me, never lucky. Bear Druids are also incredibly tanky. But is it like Shockwave that you did? Likely, built like that. Yeah, incredibly tanky. Alright, let's jump. Whoop! The stunner. Yeah, I would think that can likely survive pretty well. Zero damage. 8k life, that's... Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, I'm pretty happy if I get to like 1500 mana on this one, eventually. Without Call to Arms, right? It all depends if you find some Force Burns. And some Stone of Jordans. Ooh, look at that. That is a good helmet, actually. That is a really good helmet for resistance, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that Natalia thing, or whatever it's called? Ruined Temple. Hey, La Mason Tomb. Well, that was easy. Nice. Yeah, they rush you there as well. It's another zone where that happens. What do we got here? Lightning, poison. That's pretty good. But that's already maxed. 170, 231. It's a little better. Not much, but a little bit. Oh, it's tank crit damage here. That's not really worth that much. Yeah, it depends on the monster type. Alright, let's get even more points. Now the next 2 points that we get in Act 5, guys, are going to be pretty damn good. Because both of those are going to be in the energy shield. Which means it's going to absorb a little bit more. Eventually we're going to go for telekinesis as well, but it's going to be quite a tanky character if the resistances are up to spec. Anything but the mana leech guys or the mana burn guys. Oop. But as of yet, it is still taking a lot of damage off of the health because it's not that high level, but it will be. In the meantime, we just gotta be a bit careful. Alright, so first I'm grabbing the waypoint here because it's the one waypoint that is very, very easy to find. Always in the same spot. Okay, well, trouble is coming. Now I'm gonna pull these guys apart because we don't yet have the damage to just face these guys head on. I don't think so. So we're gonna pull them apart. Make sure there's nothing in our way while we do that. Just fight them one by one. It's one down. Two down. Well, there we go. A little bit easier than I thought it was going to be. Oh, we still got this guy here. Damage seems to be where it needs to be. This is what I said, right? If you play this in Nightmare, you're going to be just fine. In Hell, it's going to be a little bit low on the DPS, but we're not really going to farm through Hell at any time soon, I don't think. Now, council down. Now. Let's get our hands on the final piece that we need. This is another one of those danger zones, Rotolf. Oh, here it is. Well, that was fast. Talk about getting lucky, Jesus. Alright, Mephisto it is. Which brings us right into the next goal here, which is Israel. Whew. Now, we shouldn't be looking past Mephisto, though. Mephisto can be dangerous. And these Stygian doll thingies that are here. Same story, man. Can get really, really nasty. Uber keys. Yeah, the Nilatak, or whatever the guy's name is, with the corpse explosion things around him. It depends on your character, though. Certain characters have no problem killing him. But if you need to get close, that can definitely be a little bit of a problem. Woo! Damn it. And this is when you're happy, when you have a total pool without anything of around 800 already. You get stuck in a situation like that. Okay, so we want to get the waypoint here. And then we're gonna see if we can handle Mephisto, which I think we can. Looking at the damage we just did versus the council, I think we have no problem doing math runs. Those are the guys. There they are. Look at that. Oh, they're so nasty. Undead Stygian dolls. Super dangerous. Yeah, that'll have you crapping your pants really quickly when you see those guys. Yeah, those guys are the most dangerous enemy. And there is another reason why they're dangerous. It's not just the damage they do when you kill them. It's the fact that you really don't see them coming. Like, there's a lot of layouts that are kind of dark, and then you just don't see them coming. Ridiculously rippy enemies. In the meantime, guys, we need to find... Oh! There they are! And that is, once again, when you're happy that you have a mercenary taking the hits. That should be the zone to Mephisto, but I want that waypoint here. See if we can just quick cast until we find it. Ah! There it is! So that's my nephew, guys. He's actually, I think, the guy that introduced me to this game. I don't know, 25 years ago. Not even kidding. Peter en Mel ook daar. Had ik helemaal niet gezien. So guys, I am actually checking two chats at the same time. So if I'm not responding... Oh my god, there they are. If I'm not responding, then you know what's up. That is because I'm looking at two screens. Three screens actually at the same time now. Okay, we need some more potions, guys. We're gonna get smashed if we don't get them. So we are streaming both to Twitch and to YouTube, guys. A lot of things at the same time, looking at three screens while you're dodging the Stygian doll. So if I'm a little late on the response, that's why that is. Okay, we should be fine now. See if we can get our hands on that waypoint. There it is. Alright, Durance of Hate, final level incoming. Alright, let's boogie. Now the reason I'm clearing this little zone here is sometimes you got like a boss sitting here and then you want to backtrack from those council guys and you walk in there and then you die, which you don't want to do. So... there goes my mercenary. That's alright, we'll be fine. Council guy done, and that one is immune to cold likely. Okay, cool. Now guys, if this happens, right, and you lose out on your mercenary, just go to Act 1. That's a lot faster than having to actually walk to wherever that is, a Shera top left. Pretty decent op. Running out of these. Hey Dennis, kom online. Kijk of je het nog kan, jongen. Alright, let's see if we can get our aura here. Get this guy to stick him. Now he does have stone skin. Dude, he does no damage at all. That is not good. So it seems I'm too late. Safety portal. And here comes the cheat. Fighting him from behind the wall here. Got it. Haha, sub from Dennis. Thanks, buddy. Alright, guys. Let us get Diablo 4 op Xbox. Ja, ik heb Diablo 4 ook, maar ik kom er gewoon niet in, jongen. Dus, ik weet niet. Op de een of andere manier. Heel moeilijk voor mij om erin te komen. Heel grindy, direct vanaf het begin al. Het verhaal is wel goed. Oh guys, no, I don't have a stroke. That's just me talking my native language. So don't start calling 911 or something. What do we have here? Resistances. Yeah. Ooh, dual leech gloves with passive and magic skills. I mean, those are still good gloves. Not sure if they're worth something, but I'm gonna keep those. Dual leech gloves are a very, very nice find early on. Alright guys, that brings us to the next act, Act 4, where we're gonna have some fun with Israel first, Mr. Tanky himself. It's gonna take some time to kill. So better bring a couple of pots. And the good news is, once you get to a point where you can comfortably farm Chaos Sanctuary, Nightmare, you're pretty good for certain uniques. Now, one of those uniques is Oki, right? Oculus. One of those uniques is going to be the Viper Magi, which has to be your goal, man. It just has to be. And I might actually swap back, if we actually manage to finish this difficulty, to Blizzard for that very reason. If the damage doesn't turn out to be high enough, which we'll see, but usually don't have too much trouble. Done it. Groetjes van Jelina, trouwens daar, Dennis. Oh, there we go, level. Plop. Alright, 2 more levels, and now we're at the max of the power that we have, which I think early on is still good. But we're gonna need some more skills, which means we need an Orth rune. Now we will get that Orth rune once we finish this act and we free the soldiers from the Frigid Highlands. I think it's Ral Orth and... Ral Orth? They're right here. Tal, yeah, that we get. Which enables Orth Soul, which is lore +1 towards skills rune war. Now that doesn't seem like a lot of power, but that is about 20% net extra power. A little bit more regen, a little bit more safety as well, so definitely not something to be underestimated if we get that rune war. Moving away. So we are lucky that we have these spirits here, because these spirits are actually kind of manageable, but the undead soul ones, or the soul burn killers, or whatever they're called, the burning souls, the lightning guys, they will eat your mana like nothing else. They will eat your mana like Johnny Sins eats something else. Anyway. You don't want to have those guys around. If you see those, especially, you know, when you're in the, going to the Baal throne room with a energy shield sword like this, it might actually just kill you in a few hits. Couple of tanky guys here. Now we still haven't found a proper 4-socket base for our insight. And it needs to be better than the one we have on this merc now. We want to see like 200 damage at minimum there for content in here. And 500-600 at minimum for hell content. Especially because we need that merc to kill shit for us. Ja, zeker straks UFC kijken. Wat denk jij dan? Pereira tegen Ankalaev? En of... Die kaart ga ik echt niet missen. Here we go, guys. So far it's going well. So there is a bit of a trick to finding Israel here, and it's to not actually look for him. It's to look for the bottom left corner of your screen here. You see the icon, the quest icon pop up. That's when you know he's near. The game actually knows before you do. So just keep moving until you see that quest icon. Demonite Sash, finally, guys. A belt that we can use for extra slots. Now, it's not perfect, but it'll do for now. So, you know, I've never actually played a full playthrough on an assassin. I'm not even kidding, Rodolph. Never. Why? I don't know. It just never really got to that. But I'm hearing some good things, especially now with the mosaic builds. That seems to be... Oh, there it is, as well. That seems to be ridiculously strong. You play assassin? Yeah, if you can give me some information on that, man, or if you're live, we can just do a run together. Definitely interested in just getting to know that character for sure. Yeah, it seems to be ridiculously powerful from what I'm hearing. But also early on trapping scenes seem to be pretty damn good. But I always felt that in classic Diablo that had an issue with resistances. Until you actually got your hands on Infinity or something. And I could be that wrong. Like I said, Assassin isn't my thing. Lightning traps, yeah. I mean, a lightning trap with Infinity rune word is likely Very, very solid. Alright guys, good news. Look at this. 2 skill points. And what that gives us is a lot better absorption on our energy shield. So bit by bit this thing is going to get stankier. Insight. Well, I'm working on insight, man. Or do you mean on the assassin? Because look, insight, especially with an energy shield character like we have right now, that makes your character damn near immortal if you have enough of it, right? Enough mana. The regen is so high, you take a few hits and you just teleport onwards and you're healed. It's legit. This is why I'm building it as weird as I'm building this. I know this is not the normal way to build a Cold Sword, right? You're supposed to build it on Fatality and Blizzard, but I'm not going to do that. I'm legit building this on Frozen Orb alone. A good strong Merc, Warmth, Telekinesis combined with Energy Shield for mana consumed per level. So yes, my damage is a little bit lower, but I'm not going to die when I'm teleporting into a group. That to me is more important, right? So a little bit slower, but very tanky. Just wait and see. It's going to be nice. Alright guys, now on to everybody's favorite asshole, Diablo himself. The guy on which the games have been built. Oh, by the way, let me ask you guys something if you think you're an OG gamer. You ever played Diablo 1? Huh? Talk about dark and gritty, man. That was the shit for me, Diablo 1. Now, to be fair, the balance was completely missing in Diablo 1, because all you'd need is a Hydra Sorc, and then you teleport right into the Diablo room in the 16th or 17th level, and you just put the Hydras down and you teleport out. That's all you do. You didn't even need to do the quest where you need to pull the handles or anything. You just go in, you put the Hydras down, you'd go out with teleport, and that would be it. Diablo 1, yep. It's the old school shit right there. Although I gotta say, the most difficult character to finish it on for me, because I finished it with all the characters. I did play Hellfire as well, but wasn't necessarily great fan of that. But the worst character to finish it on, which was one of the easiest characters to start it with, to me was the bow character. The rogue. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the skill books, the tomes. Yeah, well, that's the thing with the Sorc, right? You just either go to Akara and do the gold tube trick. I know, right? Cheater! Which was where you just drop a pile of gold. You would walk to the pile of gold, and then you would click your potion. At the exact moment you would pick up the gold, and what would happen is it would duplicate the gold. It would change that potion into a pile of 5,000 gold. And you'd be doing that for, I don't know, the first 15 minutes. And then you'd start buying books. I'm not sure if anybody still remembers that. They patched that at some point, I think, but that used to be the way to go early on. And we're talking, what, 96, 97? That is 30 years ago, guys. 30 years ago. How insane is that? I think that was 96. 96 or 97. Now, there was a beta out a little bit sooner. Oh, here we go, guys. Boom, another level. So now we don't really have much more power to gain, other than lowering the resistances, obviously, for monsters with resistances. Specifically bosses. A couple of points in there could help. But more than anything, I'm going to focus on safety, because we just don't have the power to do hell anyway. So what we'll be doing is, we'll be kind of stuck farming zones. Is goed, Dennis. Dankjewel voor langskomen, jong. Was gezellig. En ik heb je straks wel. Tijdens de gevechten, dan hebben we nog wel even contact. '96, he told you, man. I'm a fan. That was also the year, by the way. I'm not sure anybody of you guys played this, but I used to be a huge fan, and that was '97 actually, Interplay, that Fallout 1 came out. Now, I know what you're thinking. Really, dude? Fallout 1? Dude, Fallout 1 was amazing. And once again, that nephew that I was just talking to, the guy that introduced me to that game. But, yeah, Fallout 1 was amazing, especially for its time. It had some really, really dark subject matter. But I loved that game, man. Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. Tactics a little less, and Brotherhood of Steel, just wasn't it for me. But Fallout 1 and 2, absolutely amazing. Ja, is nog goed. Als het die enige is wat open is, mensen. And just look at this, guys. We're flowing through this nice and easy. And it is exactly according to the calculations that I had in my mind. I was like, shouldn't be too difficult on the frozen orb. Now, I don't doubt that at some point we just don't have the power to do this. But I want to get my hands on an insight before I turn back to Blizzard. Because there's another reason I don't like Blizzard early on. And it has to do with mana. So if we put all our points in Vitality, which you kind of want to do, right, for safety here, with a sword like this, then try and teleport around without needing 15,000 potions. So now I can just teleport, click the potion, and keep teleporting. Not a problem, see? So it makes life a lot easier for me. But if you don't put any points in energy, or just 1 or 2 levels into energy, then you're just gonna be eating potions up. So, like I said, early magic finding. For me, the frozen orb, this stuff here, takes the cake. But if you're talking about pure power, or specific boss farms, and even Travi runs, then yes, you can just put one of those frost storms down, or blizzards down, from a distance, and you don't really need any gear at all. Like, it's just gonna end anything that's not cold immune super, super fast. Now, once we actually have insight, it matters a little less. Especially if we also get our hands on a 100 and, what is it, 56? Maybe you guys know. Not 100% sure. I think it's 156 Monarch. I think you need to be 156 strength to carry a Monarch. And then you need a 4-socket one for another spirit. And that is going to give you even more. Alright, Rodolph. Oh, dude, let me know after stream, man. Hit me up if I forget it. I've got that spark gear for you, so you can have some fun with the sparker. I promise you that. So if I forget that, just hit me up. Now, we could do the Hellforge here, and likely get something decent, so might as well just go for that. Which is likely when we go down here, because that is going to be where the waypoint is. 99% sure it's here. Somewhere. In this offshoot. So yeah, Max here. If you're there still, buddy, you're 53. Dude, I'm about to become 39. I gotta say, man, some days I actually feel old. He's like, yeah, well, so what am I? But yeah, Maxie, if you want to, you know, share some knowledge about that assassin, let me know. Because you're not the first one to tell me that that is a very, very solid character. My birthday is actually pretty damn soon. It's the 14th of October. Oh, well, there's the waypoint. Didn't expect that. So, let's go to the offshoot over here. Likely, this is where that hammer guy will be. Hammer time. Oh, oh, fuck me. Ooh, my life. Jesus. So this is why I think Ancient Pledge is one of the best early rune words you can find. I mean, the resistances that it provides is what made me survive there. No doubt about that. There's Tier, another Tier. Holy shit, Hellforge McGee, look how fast he is. Okay, we got him. Oh, Enigma, dude. I don't even know if I'm gonna get a jar in a bar this season 12. I just... Like I said, I'm just playing it casually right now, and unless anybody has like one of those recipes, like, I don't know, probably lower cost farming in a full party 8-player game or something for the chests, I get that, but I want to try it solo, and getting an Enigma solo is... I don't think that's going to be easy to do. Now, I will be trading, right? If I drop something great, I'll obviously trade it. Okay, give me a good rune, guys. Give me a good rune. Hey, we got an rune. That is actually a good rune. For a Nightmare Forge, dude, I'll take it. That's a pretty damn good rune. Streamer client activated, guys. Told you. It's happening. Well worth the detour for an rune. Okay, guys, we're ready. Facing Diablo, here we go. Niet zal wel even duren nog. Kun je even zoeken wanneer de prelims beginnen? Geen idee. That's, what is it, like a mid rune, right? It's not a high rune, but it's a good mid rune. One of the battle runs. I think it's and then mal and then ist, right? The order. It's been a while. Mal ist gal vax lo sur barja zot. Is that correct? I don't know. Like I said, been a while. The only Zod runes, by the way, guys, I've ever dropped, believe it or not, were from cow levels. For real? Arcane Sanctuary for burrs and jars. Well, isn't that an issue with those spirits that where they get off the path and then you kill them and then they don't drop their loot? You know what I mean? I know the spirits statistically have a higher chance to drop runes, but they also glitch off the reservation and then just don't drop their loot. Yeah, like these guys, right? When they go over the lava shed. Yeah, look. If I kill them now, they're not gonna drop anything. Okay? So Chaos Sanctuary could be pretty good as well, right? There's some spirits there as well. Or do you think the spirit density on that isn't enough for high runes? Oh, here we go, guys. Blasting our way through the Chaos Sanctuary. Another level, and we are max power. A little bit more on Gold Mastery, but here it is. That is pretty solid. 600. That's boogie. Now, if I remember correctly, back in the day, we had more points clicking mana per point, but I think the reason I am confused about that is if you have Force Burn, I think Force Burn gives you 40% extra mana. I think Stone of Jordan gives you 20% extra mana per ring. So that's 80% extra mana. And if I'm not mistaken, there is another belt that also gives you more mana. So you can get to 100% mana, which means every time you click energy, you get 4 points, which is on par with the Barbarians alive. Okay, we'll run out of potions soon if this keeps going. Well, you'll have a careful here. Oeh, paprika. Ik ruik het gewoon, dat ruik je zo goed aan. Ja, misschien met een eitje erbij, op een boterhammetje of zo straks. Bewaar maar een klein stukje, als je wilt. Of een reepje of 2 of 3. And this is so ridiculously nice. Super consistent as well in how it hits. You want to keep a slight distance. But look how nice and easy it's doing this Chaos Sanctuary. At least on Nightmare level. Ja, doe maar. Oh. Nice and flowy. And this is actually something we could farm for quite some time. But I want to progress, obviously. Get specifically 10 more resistances. That is going to help a bunch. The Anya quest for safety. Whoa! Didn't expect him to summon there. Now, likely he's immune to cold. He always is. Let's see if we can actually kill him. Stack him! Nice. And this is why we want a mercenary with a somewhat decent weapon. If we get a 4 OS Volk or something like that, we can't even use it. It's gonna be bad. Well, we got him down, but not gonna bode well for us. Unless we have a little bit more mana pots. So Act 4 is one of my favorite acts, guys, because it is such a fast act. Especially if you have teleport. It's a nice and smooth and just ridiculously fast act to complete. Alright, here we go. So what we want to do is we actually want to get this guy away from the center, if we can. Because we want to be able to maneuver him. There it is. I want to say maneuver, it's just kind of like this, where you can just kind of get around him. And now that he's that close to my mercenary, that is perfect, because he doesn't hit him then with a lightning beam. I think it's a bug. If he's super close, he never hits the mercenary, see? Which is perfect. And there we go. Easy Diablo kill. A lot easier actually than I thought it was going to be. And there it is. Act 5 reached. Now there's a couple of reasons why Act 5 is nice. Obviously, The socket quest is gonna be nice. But for me personally, the resistances take the cake. They really do. 10 all rares, like that. Very nice. And it gives us the ability to get +1 skills, which we will have within the next 6 minutes. Nope. Now I can hear you wonder, why the hell do you think you're gonna get an additional skill? Well, look at this. Ooh, cold rash, nice. Okay. There is gonna be a mission here that is gonna free some soldiers, which will give us an Ord rune, which is the one we're still missing, for Ord Soul. Not to mention the socket quest, which is very, very quick. Once again, praise sorcerers. There it is. Let's get the waypoint first in case we die for some weird reason. Boom. That is the socket quest down. Now we need a little bit more healing potions. Healing potions are a little bit on the low end now. Get enough of them. Now there's going to be a boss here, but as far as I know he's always cold immune. Let's see, where is he? Oh, mercenary stick him. Now we're going to focus on getting that safety up, guys. And if I'm not mistaken, right before the Ancients, we will have the ability to drop full rejuvenation potions. But first, let's see if we can get our hands on that skill point. Ooh, mercenary instantly dead, which means something dangerous is going on. That ain't good. Alright, Deckard Kane.
What is it?
Yeah. Alright, let's get those soldiers out, guys. I can't wait until we have an additional level. Now we could likely trade that rune for Frosties. Not gonna do that though. Even though it is 40% more maximum life pretty much, the way we're playing this now. But at some point we're gonna swap it over to probably, at least. Do the Blizzard skill again. There they are. And that's the last set. Ooh, boom, here we go. Now here comes an additional level. Now the question is, also, I think it actually goes in circlet. Yep. Just to make sure. There's no reason why it wouldn't be the case. Now, there it is. That is the second soul. Horde. Soul. Ta-da! Little lightning rust down to energy here, man. That's pretty good. The energy is also pretty good. So is life. Lightning rust. We do lose a little bit on the fire and the cold there, but that's fine. Lightning, I think, is more important now, especially with the potential for those soul ghosts. Now, if we can get like a cold Grandjar, I might be so happy. Or one of them shimmering ones. Nope, not happening. Huh. 3 sets of royalty towel. Alright, so now we have an additional level, which is additional power and additional safety. Now let's see if we can just speed teleport our way through the caves towards Anya. But that is going to be difficult, because there's going to be monsters there that when they hit you, they cause some trouble. Grab the waypoint. Yeah, it still got cursed. That's what I was trying to avoid. Especially going in this cave. You don't want to be cursed with amplified damage. Going back quickly. Because that can get you to one short territory. Alright, let's try this, guys. See if we can do this. So there's the glacial trail. And there is Frozen River. Now the trick here is going to be, if there is such a thing as a trick, to teleport towards Anya, double click her and get out before we die. Legit, that's it. That is easier said than done. So likely we'll have to go slow. All immune to cold. Oh, that's great. Make another portal here. Okay, there comes Frozenstein. Hey, we got a Shaco! Well, it's not the unique Shaco, but it is a Shaco. The first time we see the base type, which means there is that potential. Great. So now that we've got rid of that, dock, teleport, portal. Life, poison rares, defense. I mean, imagine getting a Harlequin crest right now. Oh my god, guys, right? Alright, let's get these guys to come to us again. Click. And leave. And we are safe. Nice and easy, no trouble at all. Despite all the cold immunes, thanks to teleport, guys. Don't underestimate the advantage, man. The sorceress is so good early on. Now we know what a glacial trail is. We just already found that. I'm not going to bother with these guys because 90% of them are cold immune in these caves. So what we'll want to do is get out of here without dying. And just kind of teleport quickly. Especially with these snakes. There we go. Now if we can find a waypoint here before the ancient way, that would be nice, because we just probably traversed the most dangerous teleport zone. And then there's the ancient way, and I don't know if we can handle that. I mean, the ancients are the last problem to solve before we fight Baal. Baal is not going to be an issue. Neither will the throne room and all that shit. That's going to be easy. But the ancients, especially with the cold immune, is going to be interesting. Now we can reset the ancients as many times as we want. Until there's no cold immunes. But that's the last thing that we need to somehow get past. And that's the first full rejuvenation potion. So like I said, right before the ancient ways, those start to drop. Now, we didn't find the waypoint, and I don't like that we didn't. So I'm actually going to backtrack until we find a waypoint here, because the Ancient Way is another one of those zones. And if we die now, man, that's a long-ass teleport back. So I'm not going to risk that. I think there's actually a waypoint here somewhere. And I intend to find it. Because I think if I don't find it, I'm gonna pay. I just know I will. It's always the same with these zones. There it is. Right. That means we don't have to teleport from here through all these if something goes wrong in the Ancient's Way. A little bit due diligence there. Alright, well. I'm gonna learn today, boys. Hey, unique helmet. Okay. Ancient's Way found. Now comes the real battle. Holy. Nou, ik ruik het al lelijk aan, maar... Dat er allemaal... wat is dat? Gezand. Ooh, serpent skin armor. Too bad it's not the right one. Stak hem! Come on, stak hem! Wat heb je nou wel allemaal erin? Dat vroeg ik niet. Nee. En wat is het nog? Jawel. Dat is nog een soort salade wat ik ook nog wel eet. Sorry guys, I was getting a hand fat here. Nou, goed. Nee. Nee, paprika geeft veel smaak. Nou, is goed. Oh. Those guys are also dangerous, the Hell Lords. Once they start swinging meat, they really start swinging meat. Okay, so we're stocking up on full right. Before the Ancients. And now we hunt the battle bases, guys. Like I said, the bases are where it's at. Because we will need that 4-socket polearm that we still don't have. Before progressing any further, actually. But we can just chain run Nightmare Cows. And Nightmare Cows are very good for dropping bases. Now, here we go. Can we handle the pricks that are the Ancients? I don't know. But what I do know is we'll need a hell of a lot more mana to even try. Wave of Glory. Now here we go. First things first, we need a set of ancients without cold immunity. That is problem number 1. Okay, immune to fire. I don't see a cold immune. That's good. That's a good start. Okay, we got one of them down. I expected this to become a lot more dangerous than it was, but we got it. That is the Aegis. Alright, cool, easy. Well, we might have over-prepared just a little bit here. But hey, still gotta get the ball, so... All of these fuckers are immune to cold. Oh, this is gonna be an interesting fight, guys. Now we just gotta get past him, because we can do Nightmare Cows for experience, rune drops, but specifically for base drops. Now all we need is the waypoint. If we can get to the waypoint safely, I would consider that a victory. Even if we don't get to Baal for some reason. Because of those guys. Those ghosts are super dangerous. Waypoint acquired. And we're good. And here's the Baal throne room. Nice. Woo-wee. Are we gonna make it, guys? Is it gonna happen? Oh, the life. My mercenary getting smacked there. Jesus. Alright guys, if we finish, which I think we will, this Baal fight, then that'll be it for today. The plan for today was finishing Nightmare. I think we've done that fairly easy. Now, I would love to say that tomorrow's plan is finish Hell. There's no way in hell that's gonna happen. Now, I'm gonna be playing just a little bit around and trying to get some battle loot from cow runs, but nobody wants to see me do the exact same level over and over again. So progression stream is kind of fun, but doing cow runs the entire evening isn't it, right? But that is exactly what I'll be doing in between UFC fights and all that kind of stuff. So after this one, guys, I'm gonna... if we actually make it. If not, then we'll be here for a while. Safety portal. Here we go. So far, so good. There we go. Go back. Because the poison will kill the mercenary, especially combined with the fireballs from the next wave. Nice. Move back. Keep the merc alive. And here comes the next level. And just look at the damage, guys. It is pretty good, especially versus these enemies. We could do some ball runs for experience. Get a little bit more power. Boom. Nope. Alright, well, speaking of ball, here comes the fight. It's on. Now he's gonna do the "my brothers will not have died in vain" thing. Pretty soon, I think. Oh, my Skype got me! Oh, come on! You got me! Except this time, I'm not gonna budge. There we go. And that is Buckle Down Hole in One. Nice and easy, guys. So to everybody that was here today, guys, I know it's a little bit away from my usual play thing that I do. Usually it's Path of Exile, but I just wanted to do something different. Just get my head out of that, Path of Exile, and just have some fun and the old school stuff. So that's why we're here, and I want to thank you all very much for watching. We will be back with this maybe tomorrow, if not next week, to do some hell farming-ish, likely some magic farming, but that's it. Until we actually get the reveal for Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile new content that we can focus on. But for now, I'm just taking a little bit of a break on the Path of Exile and just focusing a little bit more on the lighter part of gaming, where performance isn't necessarily what I'm looking for, which is what I'm very driven by when I'm playing things like Path of Exile. For now, guys, have a great evening. If you're watching UFC 320, have fun tonight, guys. It's going to be a banger of a card. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next stream. Thanks for watching, guys.
Teatro de Rio, antes de la propagación de